Network, 99.1 and 93.5 The Roar, the Woodward Sports app, and anywhere you listen to podcasts. Let's talk some sports. It's Big D Energy.
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome back, everybody. Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. My name is Neal Ruhl. In the stead of D-Mac, Darren McCarty, who is over Grand Rapids way, participating in the LPGA Tour, Pro-Am, and all that kind of stuff. We went to the bullpen. We have our guy, Jeff Iafrate, in the house. Jeff, what's poppin', man?
Nothing much. I stepped up. It's going to be a great show. We got a good plan for you guys, and I'm excited to get to it. So,
well, I'm happy to have you here with us, my friend.
Thank
You know what we have here as well. You can catch him on the Woodward Heavyweights from 5 to 7. He is Spencer Raxter here in the building. That show debuted yesterday, right? Monday?
Yes. Yesterday was our first show, and I think it went pretty well. We did a good job. It was a lot of fun, It went by a lot faster than I thought it was going to go. You got content. It just drives by.
It just, absolutely. When you have bad take easy, life becomes pretty simple. We got Sam Flannel in the house as well. And look, before we get rolling, and remember, you guys can get involved on the YouTube channel. As you guys know, you can jump in that chat thread there, and you can get your thoughts out there, and we'll read some of the good ones. We'll read some of the bad ones. And, we'll have a good time here today. Detroit Dabber, first one in, as is customary. What up, Doe? People want to know how he does it. But Sam Flannel, we have Jeff Iafrate here today, who is one of our resident basketball gurus. And as I've told you guys, we have a text thread where we kick it back and forth about what we want to talk about and things like that. We'll get into the NBA final stuff. I was laughing pretty hard at the Tigers game last night as well. We'll discuss that. We got your daily Lions stuff that we're going to get to. But we got into the discussion because Jeff Iafrate knows that, just like all of you know, about Sam Flannel and his hatred of Ben Wallace. And how he feels as though Ben Wallace is not a Hall of Famer and things like that. So we got into the discussion yesterday because, Jeff, we had to remind Sam Flannel.
We did.
That, yes, Ben Wallace is, in fact, in the Hall of Fame, but Sam Flannel started playing the George Mikan card yesterday.
Which is not a hill to die on, Neal.
Yeah, and that's why Spencer has the Ben Wallace shirt on today. He is representing. But, so we got to kicking it back and forth. You have those photos?
Yes, I do.
I want Sam Flannel to give me the tail of the tape because as you see, if you're watching on our YouTube chat thread right now, George Mikan, Sam Flannel, he looks smooth, bro.
Dribbles like Stanley from The Office.
Okay, so first of all, let me just say this. That dunk from Ben Wallace, that was probably one of his 3 field goals from that game he played because his lifetime points per game is 5.7. But I digress. You BDE people need to get some culture and some history in your lives and do not disrespect George Mikan, the first NBA superstar. He was a 5-time champion, averages of 23.1 and 13.4.
The first NBA superstar.
He is the first NBA superstar, a pioneer for big men. It was because of his influence, because he was so dominant, that they widened the lane from 6 feet to 12 feet. George Mikan did that. He was he was a 3-time leader in win shares, a 5-time leader in defensive win shares. He was so far above his peers that it wasn't even funny, and a 3-time leader in PER.
You're losing people right now, Sam Flannel.
He was literally so far above his peers because everybody else in the NBA was 5'6" at that point.
He can't help the era he played in. It's era-adjusted greatness. That's what makes George Mikan back then. He might as well be Dr. James Naismith. He invented NBA basketball.
Folks, and guys, look. The reason I go back to this. This is this man. This is Sam. This isn't an act. This isn't for hot take. This isn't for content or anything like that. This is this man standing before you. That is Sam Flannel. George Mikan apologist. He's dropping win shares on you. He's dropping efficiency ratings. He's giving it to you. He genuinely believed this.
Known fact. George Mikan is actually Sam Flannel's great-great-grandfather.
On his dad's side. Yeah. Well, here's another. Aaron Tackett says, George Mikan looks like an ostrich. And Rack says, someone cut his mic. This is getting ridiculous. That guy 62. Sam, stop. And guys, look, again, and I know we're going to get accused of it because we get accused of everything. This is genuinely what this man believes. There's no lying to this, Jeff Iafrate. We're not, we're not putting on an act. This isn't a rehearsed bit. None of it. I just got to flipping through the Google and I found these two pictures. And can you put it up there one more time?
Yep.
Sam, look at these two men next to each other. Look at Ben Wallace and look at George Mikan. Look at him.
Like I said, that's probably one of Ben Wallace's 3 field goals in an entire game. He averaged 5.7 points per game in his career. That's just a fact. This is era adjusted. It was a very new game back then. It just was. I'm not saying that if you put 2004 Ben Wallace up against George Mikan in the 1940s and 50s, yeah, Ben Wallace would probably lock him down, but it's because people are bigger, faster, and stronger. Athletes are bigger, faster, and stronger, and the game was more developed.
And on the YouTube chat thread, that guy 62, era-adjusted greatness. Lord help this man.
That's it. And I want to ask you, Sam, too, one question. If you just pick up Ben Wallace in 2004 and you drop him back when George Mikan played, what does he average?
Points-wise, he might average like 10 to 15.
Oh,
10 to 15?
He's a terrible offensive player. That's just what he is. Everybody knows that.
He got 10 in 2004. I mean, the guy could get at least 50, 20. You could probably put up Bill Russell numbers.
Could they even dunk back then? Were they allowed to dunk in the NBA when George Mikan was playing?
George Mikan had an ambidextrous post shot. He can go left, he can go right.
I will give you this, Sam Flannel, and I've always held to this. You are a great player when they change the rules. Like Bob Gibson, how they had to adjust the mound. I will give you that. When you have to change the rules for somebody, you had an impact on the game.
Well, he was just...
And he certainly is a Hall of Famer.
He was so far ahead of his time. And I personally, I know we're in Detroit, so I'm going to get much more hate for this. I don't think that this is that big of a hot take to say that George Mikan is better than Ben Wallace. I mean, honestly, even if we're all honest with ourselves, there are 20 NBA centers you could name off of the top of your head that are better all time than Ben Wallace. It just, I mean, think about it. Really think about it. I mean, like, Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, Kareem. I mean, I won't go all through all the 20. What were you going to say, Jeff?
JGB says he looks like a scientist doing an experiment with a frozen basketball.
and that's my issue with it. Like, I'm not going to sit here and argue that Ben's better than George Mikan. All I'm trying to make the point of is it seems like when you make George Mikan's point, you kind of just crap on Ben a little bit and push him down. But the guy's a Hall of Famer. The guy's a 4-time Defensive Player of the Year. Like, accolades are the accolades. So you could say what you want about him. But George Mikan, I mean, I hate comparing eras, so this is probably the wrong conversation for me because I hate it so much because of guys like George Mikan that you just can't. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Can you give me George Mikan was a superstar, though?
Yeah.
Can you give me that?
He's the NBA's first. He's a pioneer of the game, so yeah, of course.
And then they changed the rules for the guy.
Absolutely.
Both things can be true, I feel.
Yep.
And that's what it comes back to. But again, it's just something. This is an entertaining conversation.
It is.
Is it not? I mean, it is an entertaining conversation. Again, Sam Flannel truly believes this, and it is pretty laughable. I know it's laughable, but hey, it's a good time.
And that's what I respect. If you could stand by your opinion, I respect you. And I don't think it's a bad take if you defend it and you truly believe it. I mean, a lot of things can be bad takes, but in Sam's case, he's defending it, so I don't hate on it. I just disagree with it thoroughly.
And just for the record, we don't have to do it today. We have a full show planned, but I actually think me, Spencer, Jeff, Neal could actually find some common ground about Ben Wallace and sort of like, I don't know, there's a few fallacies that I think Ben Wallace apologists use. And I think even I could get you guys to be like, okay, come on, stop with that. But like I said, I don't want to derail the show.
Scott Klingler, Neal Ruhl, can we call in at some point today? Sure, why not? 313-552-6322, Scott. 313-552-6322. Well, yeah, we'll do it. You guys acquitted it. You guys made a pretty good acquittal of yourself the last time we did it. So sure, why not? We'll do it. Spencer put it up there in the YouTube chat thread. That's a phone number. Rack says it's all in good fun, though. We do still love Sam Flannel. Somebody asked earlier, what consecutive day of flannel is it?
This is 76.
76 of 360. It sounded so much easier at its conception, didn't it, on paper?
I mean, it did, but at the same time, I've just gotten so used to it. I mean, you guys wouldn't even recognize me if I didn't wear a flannel. You would be like, go home and change.
Probably.
Detroit Dabber 313. His flannels are probably due to being recalled for having some brain-eating amoeba in the fabric. Jack Harrington, my Mountain West take was awesome. LOL. Mountain West football is due to hashtag SEC rules. Jack, You're teetering on the edge. I'm not going to pretend that Mountain West football is better football than the SEC, but Mountain West football is a better experience. 11 p.m., CBS Sports Network, Saturday night, Gypsy Vodka, getting right, making up. You lose a couple hundo. You go 0-6 in the college football slate during the day. We get it all back. We go 1-5, and we go 1-6, and we have a winning day because that's what we're gonna. I can't wait. I can't wait for those nights. I'm gonna get you right. You know it.
Fish just casually chilling.
Yeah. So just Jack, easy. I get it. We're having fun and we're joking around and stuff like that. There will be no Mountain West slant. You wait till we do the college football preview show. You wait. We're going. I got to get Phil Steele. We got to get Phil Steele on.
Oh, for sure.
And we're going one whole segment on Mountain West football.
Oh, God.
We're doing it.
I'm down.
And I don't care what happens. Now, usually they say, in this business, never do something that's going to push people away. For that segment, I don't care.
Be a Cavalier.
Yeah, I don't care.
What other Michigan media company is going to cover Mountain West football?
I don't know. And what other talk show host in this city is going to get you right all fall long with that 11 p.m. CBS Sports Network bailout game?
Couldn't tell you. Only here.
Yep, absolutely. Coach, Basketball Hall of Fame is a joke. Wallace is better than a ton of guys in there. Jack says, LOL, I'm sorry, I had to do it. No, it's all good, Jack. We're chopping it up here today. As we said, we're gonna talk a little bit about the Tigers. Not a ton. It was laughable last night yet again. Still waiting on your 66% win clip to show through. I am.
Yeah.
You waiting on it?
No, I'm waiting on it. I even got to watch just to check the time.
Oh, flexing on them.
NBA Finals last night. And look, we won't spend a ton of time on it, but at some point I am going to get to it because I had a realization yesterday watching that game and had a couple of dissenters on social media who questioned it. So I want to take it to you guys to see. We got some basketball elite people in the room here today. So I want to run that theory to people. Rack says, never do something that will push people away, yet you give Bad Take Easy his own show. LOL. The heavyweights, they're doing a good job, man. They're doing a good job. And, by the way, also, too, people talk about in the YouTube chat thread, June 26th, Sunday, June 26th, the E60 on the Red Wings Avalanche rivalry will drop. There will be, I know there was a lot of footage shot here at Woodward Sports, so I would imagine Woodward Sports will make an appearance in there somewhere.
If I'm in there, I'm going to be hyped. I mean, they were messing up my show for a couple days, so I better get some screen time.
That's right.
They're walking in the shots and everything. ESPN thinks they can do whatever they want because they're the worldwide leader.
Easy says, my ish slap rack, quit playing. Okay, let me tell you about Syntron. The summer of Syntron is here, and now Syntron is available at your local Kroger stores as well. Syntron's the new energy drink for the active style. They're proud partners with Little Caesars Arena, the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Tigers, and Detroit City FC. Go to Kroger. Give it a spin, guys. 2 cans for $4. Try it out. It'll be the summer of Syntron for you in short order as well. Drink it. Live it with Syntron.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Neal Ruhl here for the Monroe Street Midway. Bedrock and Rocket Mortgage turned an old parking lot into a massive outdoor playground in downtown right next to Campus Martius. Roller skating, basketball courts, mini golf course, food trucks, live music performances. Hell, there's even some art installation down. Roll down there, go downtown, get some culture in your life. I know I need to certainly do that. It's a fun place to visit, whether you're on a date with the fiance Sam Flannel. I'm just saying. Whether you're out with the family or maybe pre-gaming before a Tigers game, they've even got Wi-Fi, so you can take your laptop computer down there, get some work done in the heart of the city as well. It's the Monroe Street Midway in downtown, brought to you by Bedrock and Rocket Mortgage. What are you laughing at over there, Spencer Raxter?
Somebody asked Jeff what song he listens to get hyped before work, and he said Marvin's Room.
I'm in my feels, guys.
I'm just saying, you can do better.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, my God.
Are you drunk right now?
Do you love this stuff? That's classic.
Oh, boy. Did want to lead off with some Lion stuff, though, because, and it's a twofold attack. You guys want the positive or you want the negative? Real quick on the YouTube chat poll.
Okay.
I'll give them a minute. You guys want to do the positive Lions thing or you want to do the negative Lions thing? Think about your answer.
I was going to say, think about it.
Because, well, yesterday, Jeff, I didn't know I was going to do this, and we got to talking about the Tigers.
Yeah.
And I feel like it really, when you come in Monday, you have such high hopes for the show. You're fired up for the week. You're ready to rock. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the Tigers just sucked the energy right out of the room. And I was guilty of it.
Yeah.
And it's my fault because that's what I brought to the table. So today, I'm going to let people kind of choose their own adventure. And I'm voting right now. I'm voting for the positive. And, of course, negative is overwhelmingly winning the poll right now. So, you
As
know,
you say that.
I want to see and where you guys want to go. What are you feeling right now?
I'm kind of leaning positive as well.
Are you?
But still, positive's in the lead, 65-35.
All right,
so
there you go. We'll do it for we'll have it up there for 30 more seconds. And JM says negative. Let's go.
We love negative.
Now look, Coque has a great one on our YouTube chat thread. Positive, quick, before the season starts. That's solid logic.
Yeah, that is.
Coque, I'll tip of the cap to you, brother, because that is rock solid logic. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, positive, 64-36. So let's do it that way. What storyline you most excited for training camp? In particular, the Hard Knocks. What do you want to see? If HBO came to you guys and said, let's lay it out there, what is the one thing that you want to see? What about you, Jeff?
For me, it's Jeff Okudah, definitely, because that's the one guy. And I heard Spencer talk about it on the Heavyweight show last night. Shout out to the Heavyweights, 5 to 7 weekdays. But you mentioned Jeff Okudah, and I think you brought up a great point. You watch, essentially inside the den, you get to see Dan Campbell, you get to see a lot of these players. One player you don't see a lot of is Jeff Okudah, and I think he's going to be the story coming into the Hard Knocks that it's a make or break year for him. Every Hard Knocks, to Spencer's point he brought up, you need something to tug on your heartstrings, and I feel like that is going to be Jeff Okudah, someone you can root for. So I would probably go with Jeff Okudah, honestly.
What about you, Spence? What do you want to see?
I mean, obviously Malcolm Rodriguez. I want to see my guy
24/7. You want a Malcolm cam?
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that stands out in practice. He's going to be flying around the field, making hustle plays, making big plays. He's in the potential. They have 6th round pick, could be fighting for a starting spot sometime in this season. Like I love it. And the guy, I watched some videos that our own Corey Woods took at Lions practice. This dude's looking yoked. Like, he is looking big. They're like, yeah, this is Malcolm Rodriguez, and he is not wearing shoulder pads in this picture. Like,
yeah.
He looks like a monster. So I want to see him flying around the field making plays.
What about you, Sam Flannel? You want him to do a retrospective on Joe Schmidt or what?
No, I That's funny, Neal. Honestly, it's Deandre Swift for me. Obviously, I have higher expectations than just about anybody, but he's another one. But he's another one, though. He's been a little bit of a disappointment in his career because he was drafted high with a lot of expectations. And honestly, even his per-game stats have not been great, and he's been constantly hurt. But I'm hearing a lot from Corey as well that he's looking jacked, and he's looking really good. And I would like to see, how he looks in practice, what type of things the coaches have planned for him, and just to see if I can get some, some confirmation. Like, he looks really good in Hard Knocks. He looks really good in practice. Hopefully that can translate to the game. So, yeah, of course, for me, it's Deandre Swift.
Tammy Chin says, I'm excited for the rookies. And I'm with Tammy on this. And that's a little I think that's a little below the surface. And look, you guys know what it is. See, you guys know what I value, right? And the rookies are the key. The rookies are what is going to make your organization good. The rookies are what's going to allow you to win a playoff game 2 to 3 years down the road. And I would butt heads with Sam Flannel on his DeAndre Swift analysis, because I get what you're saying, Sam, on the surface. But for me, when you're a $2 million a year guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, I have no issue with it. I don't, because I work as the contract works, because that's what the cost is to the team. And I don't have a huge problem. I feel like for the amount of money that he's being paid, his production is good.
I understand that, but as a player, they're more than just a contract. And DeAndre Swift was a star in college, and he was drafted to be a star running back. I mean, possibly the best running back since Barry Sanders on the team. And so far, he hasn't lived up. I obviously think he will with my expectations, but I haven't seen enough from him over the past couple of years. But with a healthy offensive line, another year in the offseason, hopefully a healthy season, I think he's going to be great.
And in the quiet guys like Jameson Williams, I think he could be added. I want to ask you, though, people have been commenting, and I can't help but bring it up. What about the QB2 battle?
Well, yeah, and Jake Wegener says that Hard Knocks got to focus on the exciting QB2 battle. Hey, and look.
In the red zone.
That's proven content. That's a content winner. HBO's not dumb, right? They're running a business.
Oh, yeah.
And they want to get the people, they want to play the hits. And I've been told, from people who are in the room, that's the content people want. And you have to be in the room to understand that. See, that is why I don't think that Hard Knocks necessarily, I don't think that they'll bring that to the people, because we're just fans, right? We're too stupid to understand that. You have to be in the room, on a semi-monthly basis to maybe once a week. You have to be in the room to be able to understand exactly what the battle is for the backup quarterback role and the intricacies that are involved. Because, for that 10 minutes that you get to watch practice when you're in the room, because, you're a hard-hitting journalist.
All eyes on David Blau.
Because you're a hard-hitting journalist. I mean, you do that and some other jobs and stuff like that. Like, obviously, I can't pretend to understand that. I'm not in the room.
I'm sorry.
Another thing,
I'm trying to keep
another thing I'm looking forward to, and some people have put it in the chat I've seen, is Jamal Williams. Like, that guy, he talked about a walking highlight. He's a walking soundbite, and 2022 is going to be a big year for anime, man. There's a lot of good stuff dropping, and so I'm hyped to get some Jamal Williams anime content on the biggest stage.
Yeah, he was great, and just let alone the videos Corey took. So get him on Hard Knocks. I can't imagine. That's why I'm excited, because there's a lot of players a lot of quiet guys on the Detroit Lions, especially. I mean, that's why I mentioned Jeff Okudah, but even Jameson Williams was a great. Someone brought him up as well. I think mainly it is the rookies. I think if you had to dwindle it down and pick an answer, for me it is the rookies, but certainly Jeff Okudah, just because of how much is at stake this year for him.
And I saw people talk about that too. Wyatt Bear said Jamal Williams as well. And I do think that is a very intriguing storyline, just because of the fact where, let's be real about it, guys, and you know where I'm going with that. It's a $2.5 million cap savings if you do let him go. So you talk about another guy, we've talked about Okudah and stuff like that. Jamal Williams playing for his job too.
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, he is. There's no other way to break that down.
Yeah.
So that is a very intriguing storyline. But we're talking Detroit Lions and just some of the storylines that you want to see covered. And look, I know the QB2 battle is on the front of everybody's mind. It's just, again, guys, I don't think that you're capable of understanding it.
No.
I was told you have to be in the room.
Yeah, that's for people that are higher power than even us. So we'll let them figure it out. But for me, man, I'm excited for Hard Knocks. I cannot wait. And I watch enough Hard Knocks as it is with other teams, but for it to be the Detroit Lions, I mean, we all consume content. We consume Inside the Den. I watch every episode of Inside the Den. But now you're getting a strictly deep dive, the drama, the good, the bad. I'm excited, man.
Especially that defense, right, Jeff?
Oh, well, yes, defense. Let me tell you about defense. Guardian Alarm has the best defense, no question about it. And Guardian Alarm keeps you safe and gives you a peace of mind, whether you're at home, on the road, 24/7 local monitoring. Make sure what's important to you is safe. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT for peace of mind. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT right now. Let them know your friends at Woodward Sports sent you.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you wanna know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Peppers tan.
Neal Ruhl here for Chili Peppers Tanning, where you can join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. They'll beat all the competitors' prices by at least $5. All the unlimited tanning options are out there for you. Chili Peppers Tanning has the hottest bulbs, the hottest deals, and the darkest tans. 26 locations. More on the way. Go to chilipepperstanning.com to see which one works best for you. Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl. We got Jeff Iafrate. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter as well. We have all of you. We're talking a little Detroit Lions. Coquet in our YouTube chat thread says, Neal's such a troll. I love it. Coquet, I'm here doing my job. This is what I do for a living. This is not a hobby for me. All right, I don't just show up twice a week and, get in my feelings when somebody questions something that I do and stuff like that. Because I have a contract. So it doesn't matter. Speaking of contracts, our guy Adam Baydoun in the house. Adam, look, you walked in here during the break from the Morning Woodward Show with Terry Foster, one of the icons in Detroit sports media.
Yes.
You walked in here during the break, and you said that you have a beef with me. And you and I, man, we get along.
We agree on almost everything.
We're very, very close. Our delivery methods are different, but the core...
Not really.
Slightly.
I say what you can't say.
They're slightly different, okay? They're slightly different. You have an issue, and I said we were going to get into the NBA Finals thing, and we are going to get back to the Lions storylines that we're talking about. But you have an issue. Last night I tweeted out that Andrew Wiggins is basically what's going to win this championship for Golden State, because he's the guy that allows them to play the style that they play, to play the small ball, to be able to rebound in the way he does at his size and all of that. To me, he's the vital cog to this Golden State engine right now, because Draymond, and I had somebody on Twitter tell me, Draymond he's dead weight out there for Golden State. Who's picking up that slack? So tell me, Adam, we're friends. Tell me, what's the problem?
I have an issue with you even ushering that into the universe.
Okay.
Because I have PTSD from the 2015 finals. All right? Andre Iguodala, just to tell the story, right? Finals MVP. The LeBron stopper. Mr. LeBron put up, 36, 12, and 12 that series?
Yeah.
He stopped LeBron, Neal.
I guess he did.
And the thing that pisses me off is we'll take what you said about Wiggins, which is true.
Okay.
By the way, because we agree.
All right, so we're on a baseline.
But this guy.
Heavyweight in the house.
You take that, though, and what you'll run with is, he should be the finals MVP.
No. I didn't say
not
that.
You.
He's the most important player.
This is how the conversation. He's not the most.
But he's
important
not the most
player.
valuable.
He is not the most important, nor the most valuable. The most important and most valuable has always been Steph Curry. Now, what Wiggins is doing is a beautiful thing, and it's because of Steph Curry. When Steph Curry's running around on pick and rolls, or false screens, I should call them, actually, where he's running off a screen, you got to look for Steph Curry. And what does that do when Robert Williams isn't on the court? It allows Andrew Wiggins to attack the basket. It allows.
I'm not even talking offensively.
Well, forget defense. I mean, how he gets 16 rebounds is beyond me. I mean,
on
Steph
the
Curry
defensive glass.
I mean, that's how irrelevant rebounds are, by the way, because Steph Curry in Game 4 had 10 rebounds.
How irrelevant?
So,
you have to get him, Adam.
You have to get him. I'm just saying, it's crazy because in the game they matter so much, and then you look at the box score, you're like, how the hell does this guy get 16 rebounds? Wiggins had his night, and I'm a sucker for the love story. Wiggins was treated like garbage when he came to the league.
100%.
Drafted by Cleveland, thrown away for Kevin Love, not treated well in Minnesota, never was treated as a star. They go and draft Anthony Edwards, and no one ever believed in him. And he had the worst contract in the NBA when he was dealt to the Warriors. That is, every executive across the board would tell you that.
What about this comp?
And he is the second biggest reason why they're going to win a championship this year. Not Jordan Poole, not Draymond Green, not Klay Thompson.
I'm with that. What about this comp, Jeff Iafrate? A couple of my basketball buddies and I were kicking this back and forth.
Okay.
Andrew Wiggins, the Mark Aguirre of Golden State, former number one overall pick, scored a lot of points. People questioned his attitude and things like that. Gets to a team where it fits and everything works and does his part and helps that team win a championship.
I love it. And for a number of reasons, to echo your point about Andrew Wiggins, yes, if you're talking about Andrew Wiggins being your number one option, it's not going to work. And it showed in Minnesota, and it showed. So now in Golden State, he's excelling at his role. And to be a guy who can be your number one option, but he isn't your number one option, that's big. That's big time. I mean, he's a 20-point-per-game scorer that doesn't need to score 20 points per game.
Look how he plays. He attacks the basket.
Yes.
Athleticism. That was the big thing coming out of college. Athletic. That was his biggest thing. He goes to the paint. No one can stop him. He's unplayable. And we say that about a lot of guys coming into the league. This guy finally put a full game together. We were like, that was the former number one pick in the draft. That's what I thought you would do 5 years into the league.
Yeah.
And here we are with Golden State, the right situation. They don't have a number two. They have 4 or 5 guys who any given night will put up numbers like a number two, but they're not reliable. Jordan Poole, not reliable. Andrew Wiggins at times not reliable. Klay Thompson, not reliable. Draymond Green, an offensive dud. But my problem, Terry, is when we usher out these, we have to be responsible. That's our job, Neal. And when we say things like he is the most important...
Oh, I'm getting lessons on journalism from part-time journalists out there.
Yeah.
I'm learning. Hey, I can evolve. These people do this like 2 days a week, Adam. I'm going to get every nugget I can from them.
The point is, at the end of the day,
Petty.
And I brought this up on the morning show, Neal, I think Steph Curry, and you know me, we've had this conversation about Isaiah. Me and you love Isaiah. I love Isaiah.
Yeah.
It's hard to talk me off of letting anybody above him. With or without this finals, I think it's becoming more and more clear who this guy is. Having said that, I think he's the most important NBA superstar in NBA history.
That's fair. Like,
more important than Jordan, than Kobe, than LeBron.
He did change the game.
Not only did he change the game, he's relatable. I can't be LeBron James. Not many people are born 6'8", 260, and can run like a freight train,
right,
shoot the basketball, basically built like a center.
Yeah.
Pass unbelievably.
The passing ability of Magic Johnson.
No.
I can't relate to that. Nobody can.
Yeah.
I can shoot free throws. I can work on my handle. I can work on my conditioning. I can shoot the three-point ball. Everybody can do what Steph does. Now, can they do it to his level? No. But what he's done, I think he is the most important NBA superstar ever because he shows you how to play the game the right way.
Yeah.
Kobe didn't play the game the right way all the time. Neither did MJ. They were just so damn good that it covered for their mistakes and their flaws. Steph Curry playing the game of basketball the way it should be. Steve Kerr needs to get a lot of credit, too.
Yeah, for his adjustments, absolutely. And I think with Steph Curry, too, people don't talk about enough is you talk about him being relatable and you change the game, like, entirely. If you're on the court, you have to be able to shoot the ball. Like, guys coming out of college now, they're shooting higher percentages. The game is just entirely changing, and you can give Steph that credit. So your argument saying he's the most important, impactful superstar of all time, I think there's something there. Honestly, you can make that argument and probably win it. So I wouldn't disagree with you really at all.
Neal?
Yes. I want to hear Neal on the Isaiah on the Isaiah
important
thing.
Not best. He's not the greatest. Most important superstar in NBA history.
George Mikan, because he was the first superstar. And that's Sam Flannel. Put his picture. Can you guys get the picture up there? I mean, you're gonna look at this picture, Adam Baydoun. And you're gonna look at this guy up here on this screen and tell me that that's not the original superstar. You're gonna tell me with those knee pads, with that look at that athletic angle of attack too. Look at that, Adam. Look at it. Look at it. You gonna say no?
The guy
says no.
He's wearing reading glasses too.
Respect to any dudes that wear knee pads. I mean, that's a tough job.
I do, but it's funny though that we talked about this because Sam Flanell did bring up a point. And obviously I'm joking with the George Mikan stuff, but he did bring up a valid point. I have big respect for guys that change the game. That George Mikan when they have to expand the key, Bob Gibson when they have to alter the mound, Wilt Chamberlain when they outlaw dunking and things like that. I mean, I do have a lot of respect for guys that change the game, and you can't argue that Steph Curry has shifted the entire face of basketball around the world. I mean, not just NBA basketball. Watch international basketball now. That used to be so reliant on back cuts and motion. They're pulling up now. And I agree with that. I do. I think, though, everything happens in a vacuum. This series is in a vacuum. And if you look at Boston's good run of play, the times where they played well, it's because they've been able to rebound the basketball offensively and put back. And you know the analytics, man. Second possession, you scored like a 54% clip.
Do we agree
Third
Boston's
possession,
the better team? Because I think so.
You know what? I keep going back and forth on that. But I guess that depends on your definition of quote unquote
more complete.
Better.
I think they're a more complete and deeper team. And
Better.
Robert Williams giving you 30
but
minutes.
they don't have the ceiling.
Well, they don't have the superstar.
Golden State can go to a level they can't go
right.
to.
Yeah, and I agree with you there.
Well, that's the problem with Jason Tatum. He's
Touché.
not a superstar.
Touche. And that's where we are. And what Andrew Wiggins does for this Golden State team, I believe he's the one that puts them over the top.
Yes.
And if they didn't have him, they would lose this series.
And you know Brian Windhorst, ESPN, the fat guy.
I'm familiar with his
not
work.
Not fat, but like super wide. So that guy has the balls to go on air yesterday, Neal. And as someone who works in a professional environment, I know I'm not professional, but you at least. He goes on there and says, the difference tonight, Neal, was the checkbook. Golden State had a bigger checkbook tonight than Boston. And I thought to myself, both of these teams were developed in very similar ways through the draft. Golden State, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green, Jordan Poole, Kevon Looney, through the draft. Where's their big free agent splash? They traded for Andrew Wiggins.
Right.
And they traded D'Angelo Russell to get him.
And they got flack for that, too.
And they got flagged. It was the worst contract in the NBA. This guy can't shoot. How is he going to be a part of the Splash Bros? To Steph Curry, deals with losing situations for 2 years. We talk about LeBron being the most important player. Mobility. How's mobility working out for Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving?
Right.
It only worked for LeBron because he was able to dictate who was showing up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Mobility doesn't always work. Giannis paid for not leaving. Boom, championship. Steph Curry deals with 2 years of bullshit. Instant success. The second the team comes back in January with Klay Thompson. And now they're in the NBA Finals. What do you know?
Right. And with my guy, Andrew Wiggins. He's my guy all of a sudden.
He's
and
amazing.
look, I came clean with it. Like
he's
amazing. I used to throw that slander all the time, too. All the time. But they do not win without what he's doing out there.
Yeah, and I agree with that.
They do not beat Boston. And it's strictly because of the way he rebounds the basketball. And his
switchability, too.
And he's a defensive
Versatile
Swiss
defender,
Army.
Yeah.
Willing passer, willing rebounder. He's willing to do anything. And that's Golden State, though.
And that's one thing that's, I think, separates him from Klay Thompson, because when Klay's shot's not falling, it's not falling. When Wiggins' shot's not falling, he's crashing the boards, and he's trying to do other things and impact the game. So shout out to Wiggins, man. I tweeted last night he's been the second best player on the Warriors besides Steph Curry, I think. I mean, Steph's getting him 35 and 5, but on both sides of the ball, I mean, Neal has a great point.
Yeah, so, I mean, that's what it is. Mike G says that George Mikan looks like fish on growth hormones. Can you comment, Adam?
Can you comment?
I think fish on growth hormones doesn't look like anybody this earth has ever seen. So how about we just don't envision that?
Absolutely. How's things on the Morning Woodward show, man? 8 to 10 a.m.
Smooth, man. Having fun.
How's my guy T. Foss?
Terry Foster's interesting. I'm still learning to work with him.
Yeah?
That's the whole thing. Yeah, building chemistry. It's tough. It's tough, but it's good. It's been going really good. Yeah, I can't complain.
What's been the biggest challenge so far? Just Terry's
He's an
aura?
asshole.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's an ass. And as an ass myself, I'm not used to working with another ass.
Doesn't that cancel each other out, though? Isn't that like
No, I
adding
feel like
integers?
it adds a lot more to the show. Because I'll say something to him, and he'll give me a response I just wasn't expecting. So it's been good. Can't complain.
Yeah, he doesn't let him off the hook. That's for sure.
No, he doesn't let me talk. It's nice. I like that.
Chuck says, oh, my God, Europe started the three-point shot. Folks have forgotten the past, living in the moment. No, I know they started it, Chuck, but offensive they were the first ones to go to the forefront with offensive execution, total execution.
I'm going to leave you with one question.
Yes.
All right. When has a white person ever worked out in the lottery? I have a question. I really want to know if you have an answer for that.
I've never thought about it, to tell you the truth.
An American Caucasian. When's the last time, Kevin Love? If you want to call that working out?
I haven't thought about it, to tell you the truth. I'd have to look back.
Two things here. One, Pistons draft strategy, don't draft a white guy in the lottery.
Unless he's Luka Doncic.
We've made that mistake before.
Yeah.
And two, I think there's something there. And I also think the Pistons are on the rise because of who is in charge. If you look at the last 5 NBA, MLB, NHL, and NFL champion GMs, they are all in shape outside of Bill Belichick. And he doesn't count because he's the anomaly.
What about
every
Andy?
GM across the league?
Oh, he's a coach.
Is in shape.
No, respect. I get that.
The Pistons have an in shape, fit GM. Neal, I've never been more confident in my life.
There you have it.
Stan Van Gundy drafts Luke Kennard, not Troy Weaver.
Hey, I covered the Pistons. I'm gonna write this stuff down. I'm writing this stuff down.
I wish
now.
I was lying too. That's the
taking
sad
notes.
Adam, appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, Adam.
8 to 10 a.m.
You're the man.
Morning Woodward Show. Adam Baydoun, some guy named Terry Foster. Look him up. Yeah, he's done some things. He's been a full-time journalist. He's been in the room, so he checks all the journalistic boxes, my friend.
Oh yeah. Looking at the backup point guard. He's looking at everything.
No, I'm glad Adam slid in, so we could discuss that. We're going to get to the Lions stuff. Don't worry, you guys. Don't worry about that. We're certainly going to get to the Lions stuff. But where are we doing the show from on Friday? By the way,
Big Boy in Taylor.
Oh, that's right.
And listen, Big Boy is gonna be great Friday. And you need to get out to Big Boy. So Neal, tell him about it.
Strawberry Fest. You know what it is. Strawberry Fest is back at participating Big Boy locations. They're playing the breakfast hits. They have the strawberry pancakes, and they have Spencer Raxter's favorite, the strawberry waffle. It's so good, he'll eat 2 of them. He'll go back to back, like the Pistons. He'll go back to back with his strawberry waffle. Not a breakfast person, strawberry bacon wrap. Straight fire. They have them all. They do. The Strawberry Fest, they're playing the hits there at your local Big Boy location. And the main point of all this, guys, the slice of strawberry pie for $1.99. When you spend $8.99 or more at your participating Big Boy location, we'll be at the Big Boy in Taylor on Friday. Spencer actually won't be there, so maybe we'll have to get Alex Westfall to eat back-to-back strawberry waffles. We'll see. No, we'll see if he can do it.
Yeah.
And then wash it down, as we said, with that $1.99 slice of strawberry pie. We'll see you at Big Boy in Taylor on Friday. Strawberry Fest at your local Big Boy locations.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play. And before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
Get a shot up. This is for the win. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal, Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate. We got Sam Flannel. We got Spencer Raxter here in the house as well. Appreciate Adam sliding through. Taking exception with my Andrew Wiggins stuff, but that's okay. I know I'm right.
Yeah. That's all that matters, Neal.
That's all that matters. That's why we're here.
Even if I disagree with it, you're right.
Yeah, I'm still right. I wouldn't say it if it were wrong.
You're right.
It's pretty simple business, Jeff. You'll learn that as you go on. No, but I did want to pick up the discussion, though. We were talking Detroit Lions, the storyline you're most excited for about Hard Knocks. And somebody brought this up, Jeff. I want to see an extensive piece done on the offensive line. because I do believe, number one, it's Brad Holmes, because Tammy Chin brought up the rookies and stuff like that. Now I'm always a slap for the rookies.
Right.
But I believe, other than Brad Holmes, on the field, the reason that this Lions team will win a playoff game, which is valuable because we'll talk about that after the next break. There's some staggering numbers with that. But this offensive line is elite in the National Football League. Elite. Top 3, arguably. Top 5, certainly. At least in my mind.
Right.
And when is the last time that your Detroit Lions have had an elite unit? Not a player, an elite unit.
Not in my lifetime. And I'll say this as well. Like, with the Lions, whatever we're banking on, everything has to do with that offensive line. Number one, it's going to give Jared Goff more time to throw the football. You saw what it did for Craig Reynolds last year. It's going to open up big, gigantic holes for the running backs. And one thing I noticed, too, if you want to make the comparison, the Cleveland Browns, you could argue, have been just as atrocious the last 10 years or so. But if you look back, when the Cleveland Browns won their first playoff game and they broke that drought a couple years ago with Baker Mayfield, what did they have? An elite offensive line. Like, that's what it does for your football team. Yes, they had Nick Chubb, but you're assuming the Lions are going to get that elite back. We have it maybe in DeAndre Swift, but the offensive line is going to be key, Neal. I mean, for this team, people are picking them to win 10 wins. If you have any hope they're going to do that, it starts with the guys up front. It starts with having Frank Ragnow back, because last year I think they missed him a lot. Can't wait. And you get Penei Sewell in his second year, so guy's going to be a beast.
Brandon Katz says Lions' offensive line is good. They aren't elite. I would ask, how do you figure that?
Yeah, I was going to say, that's elite.
Yeah, I mean, and look, you want to get technical on it and go position by position, saying, oh, they're not 3, they're top 5, then that's cool. I won't die on that hill.
As a unit, they're elite.
Yeah, I mean, go position by position, Brandon. Like, tell me the who. Tell me the who.
The why.
That's better.
Yeah.
But for real though, and here's the deal too. We saw this last year, and Brandon, here's my evidence. You want the reasons. You want my why on it. It didn't matter who ran for a team that couldn't run the football for 2 decades. For 2 decades, a team that couldn't run the football. This line, even when they were banged up and there were pieces missing,
right?
It didn't matter who was at the running back spot. They ran the football. Mm-hmm. Period. End of story. It's math. Look up the numbers.
And does that devalue the guys in the back? You think that opens up more options? It's more flexible for guys like Jamal or DeAndre Swift, knowing that this offensive line is to that level where you could just get any running back, at least with some talent, and they can go run the football. Because a lot of teams, you look around, you have bad offensive lines, but you have great running backs. We have the opposite. We have one of the best offensive lines in football, but does that devalue DeAndre and those guys a little bit?
No, I think it makes Brad Holmes' job a lot easier, because if you need $2.6 million in cap space,
you don't have to pay those guys big time.
You don't have to pay those. And Jamal Williams is a prime candidate. And look, like, I'm not calling for him to be cut or anything like that. Be prepared, Sam Flannel. Be prepared that these are the types of things that you could see, especially when guys start getting clipped, because we see it all the time during training camp. I can't believe this guy got cut.
Right.
He's available. How can we get this guy? We need $3 million in cap space. How can we do it? Well, we're pretty cool with the offensive line. Makes the running game pretty cool. Makes running backs a little more expendable. I mean, it just does. Guys, this is how it works. This isn't being negative or anything like that. This is real life and how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. That's why when I look at the Lions, that's the most important position on the football team. Like, that's why you say guaranteed if they're healthy. Hopefully, that offensive line is going to be the most consistent thing you see all year. We could talk about offense versus defense. It's really on offense. You're looking at that offensive line, and for a guy like Jared Goff, Matthew Stafford during his time here, didn't have this offensive line. So, what? Okay, I just got some. Okay, that just threw me off completely, Spencer. I gotta love him. But yeah, Matthew Stafford never had an offensive line like this. So with Jared Goff, a guy that you don't think will be here for the future, at least you have the offensive line to protect the man, give that man some time. So I'm excited. It's gonna be good. And you talk about him being a gold jacket guy, Penei Sewell.
Gold jacket,
and I agree with you there. So let's get it going.
I have the same conviction that Sam Flannel has when he says that Ben Wallace is not a Hall of Famer. I have that same conviction. That is the one. Like, if you want to associate my Mount Rushmore of is some people on social media have called it hot takes, which they aren't. They're what I think.
Yeah, it's what you believe.
That is the one for me. Isaiah Thomas, one of the GOAT point guards. Steph Curry's closing hard, though. I will say that. Get John Stockton out of the conversation. Get it out of your thought. But anyway, Penei Sewell, barring injury, obviously, everybody, barring injury, will get fitted for a gold jacket when it's all set. I'll die on the hill for that one.
Yeah.
I will.
All it takes is consistent play for 10 to 15 years. He'll get in. If you saw his rookie year when switching between left and right, I mean, come on. And it's crazy because we were having this conversation just last season on if they should trade Taylor Decker. And now looking back, you're like, man, these guys can play together.
Aaron Tackett says Brandon's takes are about as reliable as gas station sushi. And for those of you, those of you that are new to the show, in the past, I believe it was towards the end of last summer, D-Mac and I, we did that show where we said, all right, where's your line with sushi? You have your ultra plush Birmingham sushi establishments that everybody likes to go to.
Yep.
Then you have your more, I guess you would call them chain-based sushi restaurants. Mm-hmm. Then you have grocery store sushi, which I think is acceptable.
Yeah, and then
then you start going to gas station sushi. The line is right above gas station sushi, but right below grocery store sushi. I will consume grocery store sushi. I will. I watch them make it. I will consume that, but that is where it stops.
And I respect that because gas station sushi, man, you got to be really desperate or in the mood and just simply not buy a grocery store and you're craving sushi to go to a gas station. I'm sorry. That's the truth.
I don't understand how you get to that point, really.
Yeah, I don't either. And CJ Snyder says in the chat, Meyer Sushi is the lowest I can trust. Okay, and I respect that.
And you know what? I'm not going to crush that take. I'm not.
No,
I don't mind that take. I respect that take. That being said, I have eaten Meyer Sushi before. I thought about it for a split second. I'm not going to lie to you. I double clutched for a minute. But I went in there and everything was fine. No, I didn't get sick or anything like that. It did the job. Everything was cool. So, yeah, that you're approaching the danger zone though when you go there.
Danger zone.
Yeah, because you have to contemplate it for a minute.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and sushi, listen, it's not my cup of tea. I'm not a big sushi guy. My girlfriend is, and I know for a fact she wouldn't get sushi from a gas station. So
here's an interesting one. Semi-Chef Jeff. I think the Michigan Panthers should be like the AAA for the NFL. Can anyone tell, is the USFL still going on?
You know what's crazy?
You don't know, do you? Off the top of your head?
I don't, but I want to say this past weekend, I was watching TV, and suddenly pops up in my game, USFL. Click.
And you motored right on.
Right out of it. And I'm like, damn, I want to support the product, but at the same time, it just
doesn't.
No,
you don't. But at the same time, you don't.
It doesn't draw me in, Neal. I don't watch, and that's why I said to Spencer, I don't watch things unless I really want to watch them, and I thoroughly am entertained. I was watching the heavyweights yesterday. That was entertained. But with the USFL, my God, you can't keep me in, man. You can't. I'm sorry.
Wyatt Bear says the USFL is still going. Okay, that's interesting. Prag Patel would rather have gas station sushi than gas station coffee. Prag, that's a scenario where there are no winners.
Yeah, I was going to say.
There are no winners.
You want crap or crap? At that point. I mean,
so Sam Flannel, so the USFL is going on. How many games have the Michigan Panthers won?
I honestly couldn't tell you. I have been as uninterested in this crap league as anybody ever since it
really?
first started.
You told me you were going to watch.
I definitely did not say that.
Yes, you did.
I didn't say that.
Oh, here we go now. Everybody. Oh, Neal, I never said I was going to watch it.
When did I say that I was going to watch the USFL? I never said that.
I got killed for that take. Killed.
Not by me. I was the person.
And look at you all now.
I was the person that was like, we don't need more football if it's going to be a crap league where Shea Patterson is the #1 pick. I did say that.
I didn't even know Shea Patterson got cut till like yesterday, and he's been cut for quite some time now.
Yeah, he's been cut for a while. #1 pick out of there. Michigan Panthers are 1-8.
1-8.
Third in the North Division, though, so there must only be 3 teams per division.
Are the Packers winning that division, too?
Yeah, for sure. Packers are winning that division. I forgot Jeff Fisher was the head coach of the Michigan Panthers.
Of course he is.
Mr. 8-8 himself.
Oh, yeah. Old Jeff Fisher, right? Yeah. Every year. This is the whatever team Jeff Fisher coached, this is the year. This is the year. It's never the year.
It's never the year.
We're still waiting.
Maybe they're going to win 7 straight games. They'll end up 8-8, and it'll just be
How many games do they play?
Year.
And look, guys, look. Yes, I wear a Michigan Panthers T-shirt.
They
However,
play one more game.
They play what?
They play one more
One
game.
more game there is? Okay.
Against the Pittsburgh Maulers on June 19th.
Y'all having the watch party for the USFL championship game? Everyone coming over to the house? You doing squares?
The Pittsburgh Maulers
Chips and
are
salsa.
the only
pizza.
win they have is against the Pittsburgh Maulers. So
Give me your best USFL championship game party recipes. 313-552-6322. What do you bring into the USFL championship game party?
something out of the Kris Jenner cookbook.
A lot of gas station sushi and gas station coffee.
Yeah, I'd probably rather be in the bathroom all day than watching the USFL.
If I'm watching the USFL, Neal, I'm pulling up with DMAC gummies. And that's a night.
But hey, we got the XFL coming up, so maybe that'll be it.
Is there a preference? Like, are you that? I was going to say either one. It's like, damn.
Tammy Chin says the Panthers are tied for last with the Maulers. Big game. Does this affect draft position?
Draft capital, Neal.
Hey, Jeff Fisher, Panthers. Let's drop this one this year. How does the draft work?
That's a good question.
I might watch it now and I'll tweet I'm mad if they win.
Yeah.
I'm going to look into that during the break.
You know what? I'm curious because I know how they did the initial draft, but I'm curious to see how they are even going to do it moving forward. I really don't. And who's going to enter the draft? And who are they drafting? I don't.
JM says
to figure out.
JM says it should be a gas station food party, and you know I like that. You could do that.
Hell yeah.
Get a couple of those protein bars that are like candy bars for the healthy crowd.
I'll bring some taquitos, right out of the little machine. It's been crusty, sticky.
The ones that were there last night on the midnight shift.
Steak.
The off-brand, what do they call them, tornadoes or something like that?
Yeah, get a couple of those, some sushi, some coffee.
Oh,
It'll be a good
gosh.
night. That'll be a great night.
Let me tell you, we're talking about gas station sushi. There's a lot of gas station sports books out there. My bookie is certainly not one of those. The NBA Finals, in it right now. The Stanley Cup Finals, we're in it right now. Baseball going on. The USFL, if you're desperate for action, USFL too. And where to get down on it all? At mybookie.com. Sign up for a new account. Use a promo code Woodward. They'll match part of your first deposit up to 50% in free bets. Next year, you think the Panthers are going to turn it around, win the USFL championship? Get it in at mybookie.com. Again, use a promo code Woodward. They'll match part of your first deposit up to 50%. Bet on anything, anytime, anywhere with MyBookie. Have a problem with gambling? Call the gambling hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the Bottom Line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go, and that is Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has the styles you want. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4BIG-FROG. That's bigfrog.com/Novi.
Pulling up on the second hour of the show, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate in for DMAC today and tomorrow, as a matter of fact. We got Sam Flannel, we got Spencer Raxter here in the building as well. You guys are killing me right now with your USFL championship game food items. Rich Diana going dumpster diving for my USFL championship game snacks. Tammy Chin says rounds of cream of wheat for everyone. If we want to do a USFL championship watch party, I'll eat a bowl of cream of wheat. I'll do that.
Only if it's Rob Kardashian's.
Well, yeah, it's got to be made with love. Certainly that's got to be the main ingredient.
Made with love and served with sugar.
Yep.
That's
There
all
you go.
need.
Rack says, how are you going to have a draft when it won't be renewed for the 2023
Very
season?
good point.
And you know what another good point is? And I was thinking about this during the break. I couldn't find how the draft order works for the next year USFL draft. But I was thinking about it. Maybe I do want the Panthers to beat the Maulers this week and not have the first pick, because it's been proven when you have the first pick, you get Shea Patterson.
Yeah, maybe they'll grab Cade McNamara this year.
Maybe.
Yeah. Hey, he's got to be better than Shea Patterson.
And then maybe the tweet will get like 9,000 retweets.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan fans will say, hey.
Oh, we're tuning in. We're tuning in.
Nobody's watching it. Nobody. YouTube chat poll real quick.
Okay.
Are literally even one of you watching the USFL? One. I'm looking for one.
We just got to find one.
That's all. You know they're going to cap.
I know they will.
This is a cap poll. If it's not 100% no, this is a cap poll.
Yeah.
And it's not even just about, I'm not talking about laying eyes on the USFL. Have you sat? We'll give a minimum of 30 minutes.
Have you watched? And you know what that means.
Because I'll scroll, you watch a little bit, you just keep scrolling, but are you invested when you're watching? And that's something I'm looking forward to see from the chat.
If you say yes, I need you to comment below who are the top 3 people that are gonna in contention for USFL MVP. Because if not, you're lying.
And we'll give you a check for $1 billion.
Yeah.
One of the big Woodward checks that says, if it's semi-chef, it's like semi-chef Jeff, $1 billion.
Yes.
and we will. We'll give it to you.
See, we got some honest answers. I watched a quarter. See, that's more honest. I haven't watched since week 1.
Really? Tammy Chin is a pillar of integrity. Not like me, not like the rest of us.
Right.
She's a pillar of integrity. And she said she watches a quarter of the game. Really?
I haven't watched a second of USFL.
I haven't either. No. I watched I think when they were 1-2 or whatever, and they had the lead in the fourth quarter. I forget who they were playing. Yeah. And then they lost. And I did like the Tigers game yesterday. Mm-hmm. When was it? Who was pitching yesterday that threw the ball in the left field?
Ronnie Garcia. Oh, Chafin.
Yeah. Chafin was pitching, threw the ball in the left field. I literally laughed and turned the channel.
Yeah.
And that's what happened with me with the Panthers thing. I literally laughed and turned the channel.
The only USFL content I've taken in is Shea Patterson's game-losing drive. I think it was the first game of the year.
The only content I've taken in would be that who's the player who was cut for asking for pizza?
Oh, yeah.
That's the only thing I've consumed this entire season. A player who didn't want the given lunch and asked for pizza, and he was cut. And after that, I never watched consume any more content again. So the Panthers had 773,000 viewers last week. Wow.
No
For
way.
a team that's 1-8. Is that proven? It's by Neal Ruhl's second
Okay.
furnace.
You guys
source.
You guys want something funny about that real quick?
Yeah.
So you said 73,000 total viewers,
No,
right?
He said 700.
Oh, 7, not 1,000, just 700.
I can't find the. I just lost it. But yeah,
773K.
Yeah.
773,000 viewers last week.
Not a chance.
But that's national though.
Yeah.
Here's a funny stat for you. The highest rated Oakland game last year had 63,000 viewers in Detroit. It's 10%.
Yeah.
Almost 10% of the USFL viewership. One of the Oakland games last year. Think about that for a minute, dude. Who's watching? You're talking nationally.
Right.
There's 330 million people in America, whatever that number is, 350 million?
Mm-hmm.
No one's watching that. Think of the money. Look, Fox, the games are on Fox and USA?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Fox and USA would literally be better off if they took all the money they're spending on televising the USFL. If they got it all in dollar bills, wrote Fox Television or USA Television on each of the dollar bills, put it in a bag, put it in the backseat of a convertible, left the bag open, put the top down, and drove down the highway. They would get more notoriety, and that would be a better use of that money than televising the USFL. Because, again, guys, it's simple. The players aren't good. The first pick was Shea Patterson. He's no longer there.
Right. And in my opinion, I think football, especially with the NFL, like how dominant the NFL is, it's not like you see it with UFC, there's PFL, there's other leagues, especially with MMA. But with football, it's so like one-dimensional. Like when I think of football, professional football, you think of the NFL. Like you don't really think like the XFL or now the USFL. It's just hard. Like it's hard, and that's a road. That's a dead-end road when you're starting up a football league. It really is.
Chris says, if Michigan Panthers were 8-1, you'd be rooting for their success and being bummed if they got knocked out, just like Michigan baseball fans you hate on. Chris, 100 of you went to a Michigan baseball game this year, so stop. Thousands of you, you retweet the tweets as soon as the regionals come around. Thousands of you do it, but less than 100 of you go to the games. I saw it, Chris. You guys don't like Michigan baseball. You like to win, Chris. That's what you like. No, spare me the Michigan baseball fans you hate on. 100 of you go to the games. That's literal. Stop. Be consistent, man.
Yeah.
If the Michigan Panthers were 8-1, I wouldn't care any more than I do now that they're 1-8.
I would have
watched.
No, we would be hype here. I'm not like me personally, but that plays into where we are right now, like so desperate for a winner. Which plays into the Michigan baseball fan angle. Because they're so desperate to win that's why they tune in.
Yeah.
That's why they watch Michigan softball. That's why we get texts about gymnastics and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. Like they like it when they're winning. They don't like it enough to go to it. But they like it when they're winning. That would play into it, I think.
That's fair. I still wouldn't watch it. Personally. Because I don't want to consume that garbage. But,
well, somebody's 8-1 in the league, right? Yeah. Like somebody is.
Good point. I think it's more about the product too. Like it's not about you can be 8-1.
It's less than.
That's it right there. Like what am I getting? If I'm tuning into a Panthers game, what am I getting out of it? Am I getting Shea Patterson butt fumbles, or am I getting big plays? Am I getting excitement? Now I don't tune in to know the difference, but again, that's why the NFL is doing as well as it has. Honestly.
So 73% of you say no, you're not watching it. 26% of you say yes. And, we could get into the War X Vandal. War by Vandal says, I'd rather watch NASCAR. And, okay. So, there's that. It's just, I knew it wasn't going to work. I got slapped a little bit for it. Do you think that's fair to say, Spencer? I took some heat for that.
Yeah, definitely. People were back in the USFL pretty hard.
Where are they now?
Listen to us talk about the Lions.
Yeah. Brandon Katz, it's a bad take to say the problem with the USFL is that they don't have good enough players. Stop. What? No, it's not a bad take. That's 1,000% correct take. 1,000% correct. And that's where it stops. Because, again, guys, this has proven itself time and time and time again. We in America are undefeated against inferior football. We won't watch it.
Right. In college football, you're watching guys that can't go to the NFL. So it's like, what are you giving me with the Michigan Panthers? Like, it's recycled players, and that's nothing wrong with that. Go get your money, man. Go get your bag. But from a viewership perspective, what is the product I'm viewing?
And they're all playing in one city. Like, they're not even playing in the cities they're from. It's at least in college football, you have that camaraderie. You have that, passion because that's
filled with students.
Exactly.
Like, no matter if you're in, butt F Iowa, like you're going to have students in there. Yeah. I mean, it's just the reality of it.
John Mark says, if we're starving for a winner, why isn't Detroit City FC more popular? Well, I mean, what would be your metric? They sell out the stadium. They had the night they played the Columbus Crew, there were more people at the DCFC game than the Tigers game that night.
Hey-o.
That was confirmed.
One's talking about it, yeah.
Now, weird that was never reported. I wonder why that is. And, John, we've had the same media people in place here for 30 years that don't understand soccer, that don't make an effort to understand it, that don't want to understand it. And that's fine. You can play the hits, man. I'm not critical of people that, it's something new that you would have to take time and invest into.
But don't just act like they aren't over there putting in work and getting numbers.
I'm with JM. He said, we need the return of the LFL, the Lingerie Football League.
God.
That was my stuff back there.
At least I get the entertainment value.
That was on Spike, right? Or something like that.
Spike had the weirdest shows.
Yes.
I can't. I used to watch Spike a lot. I'm a weird guy.
Spike. Oh my gosh. No, I do want to get to this Lions thing. That was very sobering, and I guess it can be construed as negative. But I'll give you the qualifiers that I give, but then my 1-2 sentences on it will get isolated, and it'll be spun as negative. But whatever, that's the way it works, man. That's why they give me the check. Let me tell you about Planet Fitness. That's right. Planet Fitness offering up the high school summer pass. They're inviting high school teens ages 14 to 19 to work out for free all summer long up until August 31st. That is right. Planet Fitness, home of the judgment-free zone, where you can work out in a non-intimidating, judgment-free atmosphere. Membership starts at just $10 a month for access to your home club. They have a black card option as well. $24.99 per month, less than $1 a day. Members enjoy the use of amenities, the unlimited tanning, the hydro massage, the massage chairs, the total body enhancement, and maybe the most important thing, access to over 2,000 Planet Fitnesses worldwide with unlimited guest privileges. Join in club today or join online at planetfitness.com. It's Planet Fitness, where your fitness is essential.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Yo, Scott from the Woodward Pet Show. Hey, today is gonna be great. Why, you ask? 1, I'm gonna give you a winner. And 2, you're gonna download my new favorite app from the App Store, oddstrader.com. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds at all the different sports books. Hey, now that I gave you that information, I'm gonna give you a free winner. Let's roll with the White Sox tonight. And Dylan Cease has had 10 starts against the Tigers. He's 9-0 with a 2.08 ERA. Hey, obviously, it's his favorite team to face. oddstrader.com, Woodward Bets. You got to check it out.
Ooh, Alta, our friends at Alta. Equipment, no, when it's time. Look, what's so funny about my Alta read?
Ooh, Alta.
Ooh, Alta.
Show us.
Show us. Alta Equipment, know that when it comes to getting job completed on a budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there is nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate here in the house. Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. We are squad deep up in here. War Vandal, by the way, said it's just War Vandal. Well, I can only read your name that you put on there. There's a war with an X and a Vandal. So if your name's War Vandal, then just put War space Vandal. Can we do that?
You could.
Is that I'm not hating.
No, that's you're stating facts.
Yeah, I mean,
not opinions.
It's not being a hater.
I read it as War Vandal because just another anime thing nobody cares about. But there's a show called Hunter x Hunter, and it's Hunter x Hunter, but it's just Hunter x Hunter.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. Nobody does care. Anyway, caught this yesterday on Twitter, and we've been talking about the Lions, and let me put the qualifiers out there. Big believer in Brad Holmes. Certainly what he's done with the draft. Certainly the way they value cap space. Certainly his drafting acumen so far. Big believer. Have gone on record. Do honestly 1,000% believe the Lions will win a playoff game under Brad Holmes' tenure. Okay? That's a qualifier. Can we please attach that to the following statement? There was this that went around social media yesterday. And Spencer, we got to show the people this. This graphic from NFL on CBS. The most playoff wins in the Super Bowl era. And there's a graphic for you, and the usual suspects are up there at the top that you would think. The Detroit Lions, and we know that, right? We know it's one playoff win in the Super Bowl era. But second to last is the Houston Texans with 4.
And Neal, we got to point out the obvious. Most of these are 1 to 2 off. We're the biggest. I mean, we're 3 from Houston. That's 4.
Well, let me give it to you another way,
Bare
Jeff
naked, almost
Iafrate.
0.
How about this? So in 50 plus years, they've won 1 playoff game. If the Houston Texans folded tomorrow it would take the Lions, by the math, almost 200 years to pass them in playoff wins.
Damn.
Like, think about that for a minute. And you even said something. You knew this was coming up here.
Yeah.
You even said something to me, because every now and then you see it like that. We know, we deal with it, we live with it every day as fans. You know this, I know this, we know this. But you don't really think about it until you see it on a graphic like that on social media. Or when you're in a commercial break about a minute ago, and Jeff Iafrate says, you know, the last time the Lions won a playoff game, I wasn't born yet.
It's like depressing to think about. Cause like,
but I was a kid. I mean, you know, I was a kid. I mean, it's incredible when you see it. When you see it, it's so sobering, man.
And we have people that are being born, you know, in the last close to 10 years. And hopefully if the Lions can't even see success, by the time they're my age, they won't even see a playoff win at all. So just like me, it's crazy. Just to look at that list, to put it in perspective, when I saw that list last night, I just sat there and I just thought about it for a second. I'm like, man, the fact that I'm so passionate about the Detroit Lions and they haven't given me anything my entire lifetime, it's
literally nothing.
Pat myself on the back a little bit. All right, you got to stay confident. But I think Brad Holmes will break this streak, and they will get another playoff win. But just in hindsight, looking back, it's crazy to think about.
But that's what you're up against here.
All the odds.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's why when the draft happens, that's why we're so passionate about the draft. Because that's the hit of hopium that we get. That's when we line up, and we all take the needle, or however you consume it. Like, that's what we do. We get our hopium, and we move on.
Show us.
And then the season comes, and we go sober.
Mm-hmm.
And then when the draft comes, we relapse.
Yep.
And that's the way it is. It's the clock of being a Lions fan. And again, we know, and I got to qualify it every so often so nobody can clip me on these things. Mm-hmm. I do believe, in my heart, I do believe that they will win a playoff game under Brad Holmes.
Yeah.
Please do. Please, because of that graphic right there, because of this graphic, look at this graphic one more time. Look at it.
I want all of you to
look at
it. I'm
3 playoff wins behind the Texans. And at the rate that we get them, one every 57 years, it'll take you 200 years to catch Houston.
Oh, my God.
That's if they fold today. These are the stakes, though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we do these topics, and who do you want, who do you want Hard Knocks to focus on and things like that? We do these topics. That graphic, that's the stakes.
Yeah.
Don't forget that.
That's the narrative, too. Like, this is what you're up against. Even the Browns have 7. And you made a great point, and this is what we talked about at the NFL draft as well. This is why fans get so invested in these types of things, because especially with how the Lions have been. I understand Sheila is now in charge, so you're hoping with Brad, with Sheila, we'll see with Dan Campbell. You're hoping the narrative does change, but my God, the odds they're going up against, like, it's just always having that little thing on your shoulder telling you one playoff win. The next person at 4, Houston, and then you got a couple of them with Deshaun Watson. So you just need a guy like that, man. We'll see.
Chuck says
Holmes can do it.
But guys, we have to look at this from the time Holmes took over going forward. There are teams on that list that haven't been good in years. Dallas is number 3, but how many have they won in the last 20 years? Chuck, it doesn't. They've done it. They've done it. Like, you can go back and look at it and see it. There's footage of it.
It's not black and white.
They have face masks on when it happened. A lot like, the Lions footage, nobody's wearing a face mask.
Yeah.
It's like the last time Michigan won a national title on their own. People were drafted. There were no face masks.
I was going to say,
the field goals behind the end zone.
Yeah.
65 years? What are we going on now? Since they won the championship?
The goalposts were an H.
Yeah.
There was no net. That's the reality.
We're smoking cigarettes and drinking beer at halftime.
We're approaching George Mikan era. Like, this is.
They allowed smoking in the Silverdome.
Those are better times.
Yeah.
This is what but see, like, this is the passion behind it. This is what it is. Because that's fact what we just saw.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry that it gets me going like that, because it does. It brings up the pain again, man. But just, I want everyone to understand, like, these are the facts associated with it. But that's why I believe, though. Mm-hmm. Because have we seen a shift in how the organization works? Not just because there's a new person in there, not just because Matt Millen's here or whoever else they bring in. Mm-hmm. Not because there's a new coach, because Marty Morningwig's here or Mariucci's here. There's a fundamental shift on how they handle things financially, how they handle things in the terms of the way they do the draft.
Yep.
All of it. There's a shift. You can see what they're doing. And that's why, low-key, I get upset when I hear people talk about, oh, this team's ready to go. Why didn't you go out in free agency and be active? Because they're still taking care of the financial part of it. Mm-hmm. There's still another year of that. Remember that, everybody. Remember that graphic this year when you say, man, why didn't they sign people? Because it's got to be flushed. The whole thing's got to be flushed because of this. Because it's worked like this for years. It's changed, man.
Oh, absolutely. And if you look at Brad Holmes and his ideology, man, they're building through the draft, getting guys on rookie contracts, talented players. And I see about 3 or 4 of them in this year's draft. Malcolm Rodriguez, you can count him as a 5th. So to your point, Neal, Terry Foster said on the morning show, and this is a guy who's been in these locker rooms, has been around in the ownership since the 1990s. He said they're finally running running like a professional team now. Like, this is a NFL team as of late with Brad Holmes, with Sheila. And for him to say that, and he's seen all the BS, that's got to mean something. He said, and he went out on a just quite out said it. He's like, this is the best ownership in the city of Detroit. And I don't know how much you take into that, but he's got a point, man. You can make an argument.
Andrew says this team doesn't care. You know what, Andrew? I bet they do. If you're like a part-time journalist that's in the room down there, if you ask Dan Campbell that question, I bet that he would answer you and say, yeah, it does weigh on him, even though he wasn't here. I mean, he was as a player.
Right, but
I think it does weigh on him. If he sat up there and he talked about it, I bet you that he would say he knows it and it does wear on him. Even the part he wasn't responsible for. That's why people vibe with Dan Campbell. That's why I want it to work so bad with him. God, I want it to work so bad. Because I do believe he feels that. You think that, Spencer?
Oh, for sure. I
think they do. I think this team does care.
And Dan Campbell played for the Lions, so he knows going into it. He knows the fans, how bad the fans want it, how the fans will always be there. Obviously, he knows the national media, and he played for a winner in the Saints. He coached with a winner in the Saints.
Right. Assistant.
He was in an organization where they're like, a Super Bowl is not a lofty expectation. That's what they're pushing for every year. So to go from playing for the Lions to coaching on a team like the Saints and then coming back to coach the Lions, it's important. He definitely knows it. He's definitely trying to instill. You see what he's doing. Obviously, that's who he is at a point, but it's also trying to jumpstart these guys. Like, we had the Matt Patricia who was they played pretty good. I got a pencil in my ear and I'm a rocket scientist. And
I'm smarter than everybody in this room.
Everybody in the room, yeah. And then you bring in Dan Campbell, who's like, yeah, we're going out there, we're gonna punch you in the mouth, and you might not like it, but oh well. And that's what you need. You need to energize these guys. We see it at practice.
Yeah, and how can you not think about that? Like, how does that not weigh on your shoulders? Being a head coach, being Brad Holmes, accepting the job, your first GM job is with the Detroit Lions. And I bet one of the first things he found out was, or he maybe already knew it, it's like, man, this team hasn't won a playoff game since the 90s. Like, that's going to sit on your and he probably understands as well, along with Dan Campbell, if we do this, man, we're going to be loved. Legends. I mean,
if he wins a playoff game, he's a legend.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Build him a statue. Put a statue in front of name it Campbell Field. Like, come on now.
Just get Brad Holmes on the phone, in the draft room.
Brad Holmes on the phone and Dan Campbell with a kneecap in his mouth, and put it in front of Ford Field.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely.
God, it is though. Like, it's so sobering when you see things like that. And YT Sparty says it best. And look, YT Sparty and I, we see similar in a lot of things. We're very different on a lot of things, but this is my statement on it from YT Sparty. What I like best about Holmes is the absence of idiocy. You just don't see the typical same old Lions stupid moves. And Sparty, that's my point about it. You saw in free agency this year, there was a clear plan to get things in place for the offseason after next season.
Yeah.
You see it. It's clearly in place. And I got to give Darren McCarty a lot of credit for really opening my eyes to this when he talked about Steve Yzerman's board. Yeah. When he has the board in the office with how 2023 looks, 2024, 2025. I honestly believe somewhere in Brad Holmes' office, he has that board where he has the cap number, he has the contracts are liable for, and he's working towards that right now. I 1,000% believe that. And the flip side of that coin, I do believe previous people did not. I honestly believe that.
Mm-hmm. I mean, oh man, I want it so bad. Like you said, dude, I love football. I love the Lions. I've loved the Lions my whole life. And being the laughingstock of basically all of professional sport, it wears on you for a while. So if we can go out there and yeah, I see Brandon Katz in there talking about, Stafford couldn't win a playoff game with the great teams he had, but it's different. It's different.
I know you get a 3-year stretch, 2-year stretch in your entire 12-year career with the Lions, and you're gonna get You're supposed to have chances, multiple chances. Good organizations, you have multiple chances to get back into the playoffs and have an opportunity. So with this new regime, and I have to give the credit because nationally they're getting recognition, and that's the big thing for me. Like if you're being talked about on national TV, Dan Orlovsky's of the world or whoever it is.
Mina Kimes,
another one. Like that's what matters to me, the national respect. Yes, you can have the memes about the Lions, but they're coming.
This summer, you have chances. You have multiple chances, as a matter of fact, to try out the mulligan made with Gypsy Vodka. If you're out on the golf course, if you're hanging out in the backyard, the mulligan is calling your name. It's the official drink of summer, everybody. And you know it's good because it's made by the folks from Gypsy Vodka, locally made here in Michigan, based out of Petoskey. Ask for the mulligan at your local golf course at a Total Wine store near you. The mulligan, but Gypsy Vodka. As always, drink responsibly.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. We brought back some of the classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hot cakes, and waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try our new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or strawberry salad. The perfect recipe for springtime. And don't forget to grab dessert, including our berry delicious strawberry pie for only $1.99 with the purchase of $7.99 or more at participating Big Boy locations.
What's going on, everybody? It's Spencer for the Fulling Warehouse in Hamtramck. You know it. You've heard about it. It's the home of the original football bowling pin game called Fulling. Multiple different ways you can play. They got $12 open unlimited play. You can go in there, open till close, day until night, and throw your arm off, have a great time. Or they have private lane reservation, $120, 10 to 12 people. You can do whatever you want. You can bring in any type of food you want. You get thirsty, they got a $2 mystery beer vending machine. You put in $2, pops you out a good beer. No hassle, no fuss needed. Know what you want to make a decision. They have multiple fully loaded bars for you to choose from. So come on down to Hamtramck and check them out in person or visit them online at fullingwarehouse.com. Again, that is fullingwarehouse.com.
Back at it, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Just, a dose of sobriety here today as we were talking about the Lions and...
You don't smell the hopium?
That hurts the hopium high. I will say that when you see that graphic, that certainly hurts the hopium high. But yeah, I mean, and there's some belief out there in Holmes, and a lot of people talking about his draft strategy. D. Smitty says low key Holmes came in having a plan for Matt Stafford before he asked for the trade. And D. Smitty, low key, I'm 100% with you on that. I honestly believe that, and this will never get discussed. It will never get brought up. I believe when he came in here, he told the ownership, A, I need a long-term contract, A. Then B, he said, if you want me to do this, this is what's going to be required, and you're not going to like it. But this, the Matt Stafford thing has to happen.
Right.
I honestly believe that.
I think there's something to that because if you look at Brad Holmes, his expertise comes in the draft. So I think he wanted to start, hit the refresh button, and he probably knew at the time Matthew Stafford wasn't going to stay regardless. But even before that, to your point, Neal, I mean that's his specialty. So I wouldn't be surprised.
DB Coop 25 says, Neal, in all caps, I would give my right nut to see the Lions win a playoff game. Here's something going forward for you guys, all right? In the YouTube chat thread. If you put my name in all caps and you mention giving up your right nut for something, your comment immediately gets read. I'll interrupt whoever's talking. I don't care if we're doing an interview, if we're interviewing Calvin Johnson or whoever. I don't care. We're going to stop, and we're going to read that comment.
And that's perfectly acceptable, by the way. There's no back push on me. I'm not pushing on that.
Yeah. I did want to change things up a little bit. 313-552-6322 is a phone number as well. So, it is. It's just one of those things where it's very, very sobering when you see that. Spencer has been on his game as of late. And summertime in this industry, right? You got to touch on football. Here's the quote, hits. People talk about play the hits in this business. In the summertime, there are two things you have to do, especially when your baseball team stinks. Badly. Hey, 66%, I was told.
66%? Javi's going to make the All-Star team, too.
I was told. Once the bats heat up.
Yeah, that's all we need. Sun comes out, bats heat up.
What's the date today?
Look out.
Sun comes out, bats heat up.
Look out.
Okay, so it's June 14th. Tomorrow the heat index is going to be like 105.
Yep.
If they don't get hits tomorrow, shut it down.
3 home runs on the board tomorrow.
Yep.
First curly fries of the season.
Book it. Didn't they change that, by the way? We were talking about the check thing.
Yeah.
I think I remember them saying yesterday the Tigers got 3. They give you curly fries if the Tigers get 3 runs.
No way.
I want to say that's what it was. Somebody marked me on that on the YouTube chat thread. Somebody marked
curly
me.
fries with 3 runs.
I believe that's what the statement was.
They should let you cash it out at like 1 or 2. They should at least be a little bit reasonable.
Yeah, 3 hits.
Couple hits.
If the Tigers get 3 total bases,
if they connect with the baseball.
Yeah, if Javier Baez takes a ball, you get free curly fries for life.
Pitch 3 feet off the plate, you get free curly fries.
Javi swings.
They'll have a curly fry box on the replay. Oh, it was just outside the curly fry box. I'm sorry, everybody.
That's good.
Okay, Rack saying yes, Neal, you are correct. Yes, and Ryan Lentz, small curly fries for 3 runs. So that's what it is.
So sad.
They hit you with a small curly fry
for 3 runs.
It's free.
Dude. So what?
I'll take free.
How about like 8? They give you $1 billion for 8 runs.
Yeah.
We'll give everybody that watches $1 billion.
Keys to Comerica.
We had 12 hits yesterday. So go to your local Arby's, get a free curly fry today, people.
Get it in, Spencer.
I might, honestly. I did pack a lunch again today, though. So
that's right. You'll put it. Is it another one of those brick peanut butter and jellies?
Oh yeah, it is.
Bricks.
All peanut
what's
butter.
The brick
bricks.
thing? What's going on?
This man, when he makes a peanut butter and jelly, you could work out with this thing.
Are you
just extra crunchy peanut butter, both sides of the bread. Got to get that boy in.
No, that's not the way to describe it. He puts a half a jar of peanut butter on it and a half a jar of jelly.
What kind of jelly?
Great.
Okay.
Yeah.
No, I got to see one of these sandwiches in person. The heavyweights PB&J different.
Yeah. So anyway, what I was getting to with all this. So you play the hits in this business, right? Especially during the summer, especially when your baseball team stinks. Where in the summertime show, you have to talk about football at some point, which is cool. You guys, we like it. Everybody likes it. And you have to do these what-if scenarios. And Spencer's been on his game, and you guys have enjoyed the last couple that Spencer has done. And I've always played along with this one in my head before. If you were an athlete, championships or glory, would you rather have 2 rings as a role player or be a Hall of Famer with no rings? Jeff Iafrate, your thoughts?
So I'm kind of making the comparison here to basketball, and I'm just going to say this. I'd rather be Charles Barkley than Sean Livingston. So if that answers your question. I mean, I'd rather have the ad deals, the publicity, the fame, the notoriety. But then you always get that conversation when you have a conversation with somebody with a ring, or a Super Bowl ring in this instance. Be like, oh, you don't got one of these. And I get that. But for me, I want to end up in, top 10 in passing yards. I want to end up, top 10 in whatever it is, receiving yards, whatever position you play. I'd rather do that. I'd rather be, substantially better than a lot of people than just have 2 rings as a role player. So that's the way I'm rolling with it.
Andrew says Hall of Famer, no rings. And for me, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I would rather be a Hall of Famer too, because it's not up to me to build the team. It's up to me to go out and ball and be dominant at what I do. And oh, by the way, too, when you're a Hall of Famer, that means you're one of the highest paid dudes in the game as well at some point.
Absolutely.
And look, again, I tell, unlike some people in the media industry, this isn't a hobby for me. Like I do this for money. Like it's the way I stay employed. This is not a hobby. I don't just show up at the facility 2 times a week and then lecture people about how you need to be in the room to be taken seriously. I don't do that. Like this isn't for fun. Like this is the job. This is what we do. And that for me, I think that spills over into if I was an athlete.
Right.
I want to be the Hall of Famer. I want to make all the money. I want all the endorsements. I want everything that goes along with it.
And it's going to further your career. I mean, can you guys remember the role players? And you can remember key role players, but again, to your point, Spencer, you can go.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to say is like, yeah, obviously, I'd want to be a Hall of Famer with no rings. You make an insane amount of money. But I can see the other side of being a role player, having multiple rings. If you do it for one city, one team, that endears you to a fan base.
That's true.
Those guys love you. They'll love you forever. You can do whatever you want in that city. You can get away with murder if that happens.
Hey.
And it's that's a thing.
But Matthew Stafford's beloved in this city.
Yeah,
So
but he's also hated.
He's also, by very odd humans. But anyway, back to your point about doing it, putting in the body of work. I think a city can love you. If I'm a Hall of Famer and I play for one team and I don't win a ring, let's say Dirk Nowitzki never won a ring, I think that man would still be cherished in Dallas. Absolutely.
Sure.
So I guess it just depends. I'm being selfish, guys. I'm willing to admit it. So I'm going with Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Don Thompson says Hall of Famer equals individual glory, ring equals team glory. Francis Garcia, history remembers Hall of Famers. They don't necessarily remember championship winners. Clown Sauce has a good one here, and this one flies close to the sun. Would you rather be D-Mac or Paul Correa? He's gonna take you to the mat right now and try to choke everybody out.
I was gonna say I'm actually not required to answer that question because I'm keeping his seat warm. So you guys can answer that question.
Well, I actually have a point when it comes to the Hall of Fame versus, rings and a role player. When you're a role player, oftentimes you're winning those championships, especially in the NBA, in service of a LeBron, in service of a Michael Jordan, in service of a Magic or a Larry Bird. Those aren't your championships. Those are Larry's, Michael's, LeBron's. You know what I mean? Even D-Mac, those aren't D-Mac's championships. Those are Stevie Y's. Those are Lidstrom's. Those are Sergey's. Those are not D-Mac's. He was a role player and he's a part of it. But
made big plays too.
That's very true. But I want to be a Hall of Famer because those are not the champion. You're winning those championships in service of the stars.
Yeah, I mean, and you look at it too from this perspective. Paul Correa's earnings, he made over $83-ish million playing in the NHL.
That's insane.
They say, time adjusted, that'd be like about $124 million in today's day and age. And for me, it goes back to this too. That sets my family up 3 generations down the road, 4 generations up down the road,
Absolutely.
5 generations down the road.
And Neal, to your point, guys end up selling their championship rings. Like that's a thing. Like guys get to that point, and hopefully, it sucks to see it, but you end up selling your rings. So if you'd rather have $100 million to your name and your net worth, I would go buy one of the guys. I'll just go buy a ring for Christ's sakes. But no, I'll take the Hall of Fame.
Hey Sam, you're getting torn up in the chat right now, buddy.
What is going on?
Mike
Sam?
says Flannel should be just fired on the spot. Neal Ruhl's second furnace says it's been real, Sam. Mike says, tell D-Mac those aren't his championships, Sam.
What did I say that was that bad? I didn't say anything. I just said that role players, you're not going to get remembered as your championships. You're winning them in service of the stars. That's not anything even remotely controversial.
Okay, Mike G's got a new question to contemplate. Would you rather be on Flannel Sam's trajectory or Fish's trajectory right now?
I mean, Fish just got out of a long-term relationship. Flannel Sam's about to get married, so I'm gonna have to go with flannel. I'm going with flannel.
No,
for
flannel's
sure.
striving.
Thank you.
No, flannel's striving. And I got to say this, just the way you phrased it, though. Like, I get it's Iserman's champ. It's his reign. But that's in a way. See, Sam does this. I've noticed. See, I filled in a couple times on the show, and I'm starting to read Sam now, and I know how he sets up his arguments. And it's like he has a point, but there's also you can easily disagree with it, but he has a point, and that's what I respect. Like, yes, you're right, but are you right?
And here's a little caveat too with the Paul Correa thing, and this is a great catch by Andrew. Paul Correa was loved in Anaheim, and he's almost considered like the Ducks OG. You know what I'm saying? Like when you go through and it's not a long history, obviously, but when you go through the Ducks history, what's the first name you think? It's Correa, Teemu Selanne, when they went to the Stanley Cup Finals and all of that. I mean, there are some DMAC elements like DMAC, and certainly it's not the same thing. Don't get me wrong, it's not the same thing.
Right.
There are some of the same elements, though. There's just you also have $84 million.
Yeah, and YT Sparty says NHL must not pay as well as the NFL/NBA. Well, yeah, obviously. And if that was an NBA contract for a guy like that, his career earnings would be like $700 million. But looking at it, like if somebody said stars don't win without role players, and I agree with that. I was just thinking of like teams like that, like the Spurs, where the Spurs they had 4 stars, but then you also have the Danny Greens, the Boris Diaws, the Patty Mills that are very important to their success.
Even with MJ, like the Steve Kerrs of the world, the Kukocs, like these guys are important. Just DMAC with the big goal he had, like you can pull up these moments.
Sports Marketing Agency is important as well. They help spread awareness about mental health and substance abuse disorder. Their podcast called This Is the F Word is a series on fentanyl, helps spread awareness of fentanyl and all the other addictions that are plaguing our communities as we speak. If you're struggling, if you know someone else that's struggling, go to thesportsma.com. Thesportsma.com. Sports Marketing Agency, they're here to help.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side.
Lemieux and McCarty, you've got a good knockdown drag up. There they go, right on the whistle. They were talking to one another.
Woodward Sports.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Hello? Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991? Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Neal Ruhl for oddstrader.com, the #1 site for all of your game day betting activity. You can start your handicapping journey at oddstrader.com. Get play-by-play updates, live scores, and bet tracking downloads. And to do it, just go to the App Store and download the Odds Trader app today. They'll find you the best price on every game. Probably the most important component to all this, in my mind. Give you sign-up offers, too, from all the sports books. I talk about them all the time here on this show. They'll do all the heavy lifting and let you know where the best action is at. Player stats, key game stats, all available at oddstrader.com. Download the app today. Coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Mike on our YouTube chat thread said Sam's going to have to turtle when D-Mac gets back. And we're asking the question, if you were an athlete, what would you rather be? Would you rather be a Hall of Famer with no rings or a role player with multiple rings?
And I like this point Brian just brought up. Is D-Mac really a role player, though? 4 rings and some big plays and big playoff games. Brett Lieba is a traditional role player.
Okay, but I mean, in no disrespect to D-Mac, look at his regular season stats in 02 and 08. In 08, he played, 3 regular season games. In 02, he had 12 points. I'm just saying, those aren't his championships, especially 02. How many Hall of Famers were on that team? I'm just stating facts.
Sam, how can you look me in the face or anybody in here in the face and say it's not his championship.
I mean,
what does that mean?
He's a part of it, but he's winning them in service of the Hall of Famers, like a Stevie Y, like a Sergey.
What about
like
after Stevie?
Okay, when it comes to
keep saying Stevie, you keep saying okay. Go, keep going.
I said Lidstrom, and I said Sergey Fedorov as well.
Gotcha.
And even like Brett Hull at that point, and Dominic Hasek. But I'm just saying, when you count championships when it comes to history of all sports, they're seen as the stars championships. The role players, a guy like D-Mac was very much needed, especially the 90s championships. He actually had some good seasons and made some really, really great plays, including, of course, March 26, 1997, obviously. But being a role player, you're never going to be remembered as that was your championship. It is the superstars championship, not the role players.
I do get what Sam is saying with that history outside of the city, history will not remember the role player as much. And D-Mac is a specific case that opposes that because he is known so lovingly and frequently in the hockey world for all he did. And hockey is different as well, as the role players in basketball are completely different as role players in hockey, because the grind line was quintessential for those playoff runs and playoff wins. And Darren McCarty specifically was quintessential for those playoff teams and playoff wins. So
and to
it's
be
a little
fair,
different in hockey.
And to be honest, too, there are no more grind lines anymore because the salary cap doesn't allow for it. Because you had a day in time where if Draper's making $3 million and D-Mac's making $2.5 million and or vice versa, you can't have that anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You have an $80 million cap, or whatever that cap number is in hockey, and you got to pay Connor McDavid $15 million of that. There's no room left for any of that. There's not, and we've seen I guess we've seen the third line or the fourth line, the grind lines go away from the game of hockey.
Yeah, it really is like that. And like you saw it kind of with Tampa Bay in the past 2 years, and kind of now that they got Pat Maroon to throw down there. But the fourth line isn't nearly what it was back in those days. And back in those days, when you could throw out a Draper, Maltby, and McCarty and just grind, like there's no other way to say it, just grind these people out and to make them scared of that fourth line, to have the fear of that fourth line. And like Darren McCarty is one of the just historical figures in hockey because of what he did all throughout that, and he's so endeared to Detroit because of the 4 Stanley Cups, because he embodies what Detroit is, as that blue collar, tough, doesn't take anything from anybody, will go out there and give everything to him. So I will say I get what Sam's saying about how as a history they'll remember the championships from the Stars, but D-Mac and that Red Wings team I think is an exception on that.
Yeah, I mean, and it's funny too because nobody talks about hockey this way. It has almost gone the way of the NBA.
Yeah,
like you need a star. That's pretty much a non-negotiable, right? Like you need a star. You look at Tampa. Kucherov's a star in the NHL. On the other side, Nathan McKinnon for Colorado, he's a star in the NHL. You need a star caliber, just about need a star caliber goalie. That's a little more flexible. But if you have one of the great ones, obviously you're in better shape. If you have Vasilevsky, who, man, if they win this cup, dude,
he's the GOAT.
Yeah, I mean, like. We have to go to Sam Flannel. He's the judge, juror, and executioner. Is he the greatest of all time if they win?
No, not quite. But I will say this. I have never seen anybody with my own 2 eyes play goalie better than I've seen Andrei Vasilevsky. But he still might. He's on the GOAT trajectory for sure. But he hasn't done enough to pass like a Martin Brodeur or a Hasek. Oh man, I just got.
You just got old man slapped.
Easy, just slap the. I'm not going to say it. Blake out of me.
Chill out, Richard. Yeah. No, Vasilevsky is the GOAT if he wins this. He needs, like 5 more years to have that longevity of being, but he is
racking up playoff wins.
He's never lost 2 games in a row in the playoffs. How is that possible? Yeah. Like, that is so ridiculous.
I'm a resume guy, man. Like, that's resume.
He's won more Stanley Cups.
Yes.
Than times he's lost 2 games in a row in the playoffs.
Yes. That's 3 times.
I think that makes it even more insane.
Yes.
When you say it like that. Like, that's unbelievable.
Mm-hmm. And here, I gotta
That is unbelievable. But anyway, wrapping up our YouTube chat poll, who would you rather be? A Hall of Famer with no rings or a role player with multiple rings? Role players with multiple rings close pretty hard. 56% say you want to be a Hall of Famer with no rings. 44% of you say a role player with multiple rings. And for me, I guess I'm shallow. I don't know. I want the money.
Yeah,
I do. Like, I would love the acclaim. Certainly, I would love the acclaim to be a role player and to be like the people's champion and stuff like that. But I'd rather have $88 million.
And you could still be the people's champ and have $90 million.
You know what I'm saying?
You just want to have a ring, but people still love you.
Yeah, and that's that's where it was for me. But I get it. I can see both sides of it.
And
absolutely.
Look at Neal. Look at this Vasilevsky stat. Is just.
All right, what do you got for me?
This is the stat. This is ridiculous.
Fewest games to 60th career playoff wins. 97 games.
You see who he's above? Patrick Waugh, Marty Brodeur.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, arguably the two best goalies of all time.
Yeah, and, Grant Fuhrer was on essentially the 2002 Red Wings, but every year.
Every single year, yeah.
Because that's what that team was.
Oh, for sure.
Paul Coffey was on that team.
Just a ridiculous squad.
Mark Messier was on that team.
Yeah.
People forget that team, dude. Obviously, Wayne Gretzky.
Yeah, it's just
Esa Tikkanen.
Talk about powerhouses. That is just an insane lineup.
They had their McCarty and Marty McSorley.
Mm-hmm.
Like, people forget that, man. That team was incredible. Almost as good as getting your haircut at Lady Jane's, right, Jeff?
Close, but not quite. Lady Jane's haircuts for men. We broadcast this show live, as you guys know, in Birmingham, from the headquarters of Lady Jane's. And I'll tell you firsthand, you see the hair, got it styling. Had a hat on last time, but this time I'm feeling confident. Got my hair done at Lady Jane's, and it's awesome to get off the air, get situated. The ladies will take care of you. By the time you're out of there, you've seen sports, you got your haircut taken, and you're on your way. So walk into Lady Jane's anytime, 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Get there to Lady Jane's because it's wicked awesome.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Brandon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Back at it here, coming down the stretch, Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Neal Ruhl, Jeff Iafrate in for DMAC. Fortunately for Sam Flannel, he'll be in for DMAC again tomorrow as well. Sam Flannel, Spencer Raxter as well. Final segment of the show. Jeff, you made it, man.
Yes, we do 52 minutes into the second hour, 8 minutes left of the show, and we might have the best topic on the sheet. It's Ask Neal. Drop your questions. Yeah.
Okay.
The heel himself.
I was trying to do a WWE entrance for you, Neal.
Yeah. Ask Neal, huh? Okay. Hey, I'll play along.
Yeah.
In the meantime, before we wait for the chat world to catch up and drop those questions, DB Coop 25, no more Sam this week, please, Neal. All in caps, by the way.
Don't do it. No, I'm not going there yet, Sam. You're always welcome.
Jake Wegener says, R.I.P. Flannel. It was nice to know you. Tammy Chin says, I'm going to back away slowly.
The only thing Sam deserved was maybe that backhand by Easy, but other than that, he's always welcome. I love Sam.
Yeah. So, Ermani's Spacious Office says, Neal, favorite undershirt brand. I don't know that I've ever been brand loyal to undershirts before.
Yeah.
Whatever when I roll through TJ Maxx or whatever, if it's a Calvin Klein 6-pack or whatever, polo, whatever.
The polo ones, I love the polo.
Yeah, I do too, actually. Yeah. But I'm not like brand exclusive to them.
I love this poll, by the way.
Which flannel take hurt the most, Ben Wallace or D-Mac?
That's a hard one.
I still say it's Ben Wallace.
I was gonna say, yeah, he wasn't really personal with the D-Mac one. The Ben Wallace one felt a little personal. He was really coming. He didn't come after D-Mac. He came after Ben.
He did. Jack Harrington, Neal, how much would it take for you to watch a Tigers game. I'll still go to a couple games this year, have a couple drinks.
Experience.
Yeah, be outside when it's warm, all that kind of. And I'll watch tonight. I took my break. I announced it when I was taking my break from the weekend. And again, just in the, I'm learning the journalism game from a couple of the people in town that, really pride themselves on being serious journalists. I'm learning for them.
Really pride
themselves. And, for me, doing that is I feel a sense of loyalty to have to do that, to watch a Tigers game, to accurately talk about
It's your duty.
It's my duty, exactly. Unlike some other journalist in this town, like I'm there all the time.
Part-time.
I might not be in the room, but I'm there all the time. Adam says, Neal, favorite food to grill? Ask Neal. It's steak. Steak and asparagus,
For
man.
sure.
Steak and asparagus, man.
Glass of red wine,
delicious.
some steak and asparagus.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Absolutely. People, CJ Schneider, OMFG, what was his DMAC take?
Oh, you got to rewind it, CJ Snyder. We're not.
You got to go back.
We only got 5 minutes left.
We're not revisiting that take.
Rewind the tape a little bit, CJ.
Coquet, Neal, does QB3 end up starting for the Panthers next season? I don't know. I'll have to go to the football experts in the journalism
I'll tell you
in this
what,
town.
David Blau could start for the Panthers. That's
Oh,
for sure.
100%, yeah.
Oh, he would break Twitter.
Yeah.
Twitter
And you know
would
what
be over.
else you would get? You get a lot of tweets, too, in the preseason to let you know.
He's looking great.
Yeah. Jesse Adams. Neal, what do you think about people saying Holmes reminds them of Ozzie from the Baltimore on finding talent? Do you see that? Yeah, I mean, it appears to be. It appears to be trending that way. You know what I'm saying?
Can I ask? I got a question.
Sure.
I think this is hilarious. By Mike G. Ask Ruhl. Juicy did great today. Will you let him bartend at your next 3 Furnace Estate parties?
Mike, here's the deal. I don't know that I'm comfortable with that yet. I think I would have him park the cars first. I'd get him the silly little tuxedo, and he'd have to sprint back and forth. To get the cars, to park the Range Rovers and the Porsches and the Mercedes and all that stuff. Yeah. And you'd have to do it. And again, like I said, you park them down the street and you sprint your ass back and get the next one. And
and I have to park the car successfully to get water. Like if I'm thirsty, park the car first, then we'll get you water.
Yeah, then we'll get you water there. If you
but
do
it's
well,
only Voss water too. So.
yeah. If you do well, the help gets Dasani.
Fiji.
They get Dasani or something like that, and it's warm.
It's warm.
Like
it's sitting in the garage.
Yeah, it's been sitting in the garage. But if you do well doing that, Jeff, then maybe we'll let you bartend the next event.
Yes, let's go.
Find me some more. There's some other ones in there.
Yeah, it says, ask Neal, who are you most excited about on the Lions this season? I think you kind of already hinted at it earlier, but you got to rewind the show to hear that answer as well.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm like everybody else, too. I mean, most excited just because of the financials. Mm-hmm. It's the Jeff Okudah thing for me.
Absolutely.
Because he's the 4th or 5th highest paid guy on the team, man. Show us.
I got one here
Yes.
from Francis Garcia. Neal, will Urban Meyer ever coach again?
I don't know.
That's a good question.
I don't know. I'll tell you this: an athletic director would hire him.
College for sure.
Yeah, an athletic director, no doubt, would hire him. I don't know if he's going to have to go like the Western Kentucky route, or something like that.
You think he would? I don't want to say step down to a Western Kentucky. Do you think he would actually take that job? Or
it depends on how bad he wants to coach.
Yeah, didn't he say the only places he'd come back to college in are like Michigan, USC, and Texas?
Right.
I think those are the only schools that he said he'd be interested in coaching.
Yeah, and to be fair, he might be like a cycle away from that.
Yeah.
Like the next Texas coach, the next if Lincoln Riley doesn't work out, it might be a sequence.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to bet money on it, I bet he's back coaching again. I would do that.
Ask Neal. This is from that guy 62. With the revamped wide receiver room, do you see an increase in Goff's passing yards?
Well, I was told 5,500, even though it's never been done in the history of the NFL. We had that. We had people say that.
I still can't believe that was an actual that was an answer.
I thought he was trolling. I still think he was trolling because there's no way you can actually believe
those are the best trolls when you don't know them.
Yes,
What is that like 400 yards a game?
Yeah.
My God.
Yeah, I mean, I would say in an optimum world for the Lions that there's not some grotesque leap in passing yards.
Yeah, no.
But there would be a grotesque leap in rushing yards.
Quick one before we go by DB Coop 25. Neal, who's your favorite little rascal?
I mean, my favorite, You got to go with alfalfa because he's the most marketable, right? Like he's the best earner for you.
sure.
You know, he's gonna sell you T-shirts and DVDs and Blu-rays and everything like that. Like he's gonna sell you that.
He's the most profitable
one, yeah. So I would have to do like a cost breakdown analysis. I think that alfalfa is a lot like LeBron, and a lot like Messi. If you break it down, he was underpaid. Whatever he got, he was underpaid in relation to the rest of the cast.
That's fair.
He generated way more income than the rest of the cast.
They're playing soccer in my backyard. I think I see Messi. It's a Kanye lyric.
Yep.
Yeah. That's fair. Spanky was good. Buckwheat's good. I was a buckwheat guy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Flash and everything like that.
The Flash
but make no mistake, alfalfa was the earner.
Alfalfa puts people in the seats.
He was the 1A and 1B.
Yeah, he was there. There you go.
So beautiful.
All right, that's enough. We'll be back at it tomorrow for Jeff Iafrate for Spencer Raxter, and of course for the dead corpse that is Sam Flandel. My name's Neal Ruhl. Thanks for watching and listening to Big D Energy, Woodward Sports Network. Well, see you later.